What is up, Fighters TV? Welcome back to the Glitch Report. Let's start with the stuff that makes you tilt your head so hard your chiropractor sends you a thank you note. The gaming industry's favorite international assassin, Agent 47, is back, and he's stepping into his most dangerous contract yet, taking down his own paid DLC. Yes, I'm talking about Eminem in Hitman World of Assassination. You aren't just assassinating the rapper, you're teaming up with the good Eminem to hunt down the evil alter ego Slim Shady in a reconfigured mental asylum map called Pop Swamp Hills. You heard that right. This is not a fan mod, this is IO Interactive saying, forget stealth mechanics and narrative consistency, we need that sweet cross-promotional dollar. The community reaction is exactly what you'd expect. Half are making jokes about whether the elusive target will drop a rap album instead of a keycard, and the other half are already pre-ordering the paid Slim Shady cosmetics pack. This is the gaming ecosystem now, folks. The line between a high art stealth game and a bizarre corporate wrestling match is totally blurred. If you missed it, this patch is an episodic narrative superhero game and it just hit 2 million sales. I love this. Episodic gaming was supposedly dead, buried under the rubble of failed Telltale Studios and half-finished Kickstarter promises. But no, this indie team, Ad Hoc, came out, delivered an incredible story, and proved that if the writing is good, people will show up, even for the dreaded Season Pass model. The creative director Nick Herman said that AI feels like a production solution, not a creative one, before adding, and this is the burn of the year, maybe it's a creative one if you aren't creative. Oh, give that man an award. No, scratch that. Give the entire studio an industry mandated pizza party and a lifetime supply of the finest artisanal coffee. Speaking of awards, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 just made Game Awards history by racking up a whopping 12 nominations. Game of the Year, Best Narrative, Best Performance, the whole 9 yards. A smaller team, a fresh IP, and boom, it's now one of the most decorated titles of the year. The funniest part? One of the nominated voice actors, the highly talented Charlie Cox, gave an interview where he admitted he recorded most of his lines for his critically acclaimed performance in about 4 hours as a simple voiceover gig. 4 hours! That's less time than I take to find a decent match in Call of Duty. But the good news train isn't stopping there. The global market is speaking, and it's speaking wuxia. The Chinese action RPG where wins meet just saw 2 million players jump in within 24 hours of its global release. This is huge. It's free to play, which helps, but those numbers are wild for a genre outside the typical Western focus. The message here is clear. Stop trying to force feed us the same 3 genres with the same 5 publishers. Give us unique worlds, give us fresh martial arts mythology, and we will absolutely show up. That's 2 indie mid-size successes in a row, proving that originality is currency. Now, as much as I want to stay on the indie high, we have to talk about the suits. The corporate structures that always seem to find a way to take 2 steps back for every 1 step forward the creators make. Take Nintendo, for example. After their latest Switch 2 update, users started reporting that their cheap, totally functional third-party docks stopped working. Immediately, the community screamed anti-consumer tactics, because let's be real, Nintendo's official dock costs about the same as a slightly used sedan. But then, Nintendo did the unthinkable. They issued a statement saying they have no intention to hinder or invalidate legal third-party dock compatibility, and any issues were unintentional. Wait, what? A major console manufacturer being consumer friendly and issuing a clarifying statement? It's a genuine moment of trust building, and I am absolutely bewildered. My cynicism quota has taken a hit. I guess even the big N realizes that if you make people pay nearly $100 for a glorified plastic stand, they're going to look elsewhere. Good job, I guess. This unexpected moment of consumer goodwill makes the next story sting even harder. because it's about a total breakdown of trust right at the top. We have to talk about Paradox Interactive and Colossal Order, the masterminds behind Cities Skylines. After 15 years and the success most publishers only dream of, they are parting ways. Now both parties call it a mutual decision because corporate breakups always sound like a nice cup of tea, but come on. This follows the dumpster fire launch of Cities Skylines 2 and a series of high-profile failures for Paradox. The development of Cities Skylines 2 is now getting shuffled to one of Paradox's internal management studios. What does this tell you? When a publisher struggles, the studios it relies on are the first to get the corporate handshake goodbye. Volatility is the only constant in this business, and if your game doesn't hit $1 billion, you might as well start updating your LinkedIn profile. And now, my friends, we enter the hellscape. The one topic that ties Avalanche Studio closures, C-suite greed, artist denial, and even the US Congress together into one terrifying, beautiful, absurd package. The rise of the digital paperclip assistant. I'm talking about AI, of course. First, the inevitable cost of this AI corporate push. Avalanche's Liverpool studio closed, laying off 31 people after their Xbox exclusive Contraband was cancelled. This comes on the heels of Microsoft, which is neck deep in the AI race, having its CEO publicly state that despite all the recent game studio cuts and layoffs, they are thriving and focused on, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. The cold equation is laid bare. People out, AI in. 31 human jobs gone. So a CEO can feel good about emphasizing efficiency in a quarterly report. The backlash is palpable, even reaching Oscar-winning animators. The director of the cinematic short for Bungie's Marathon, Alberto Milgo, had to make a public statement denying that his work, which is a stunning piece of animation, was AI generated. He had to stand up and say, no, really, 155 actual human beings worked for months on this. It's utterly insane that artists now have to prove their own humanity. We've reached the point where good art is automatically suspected of being machine-made, while studios that knowingly use AI for cost-cutting are given a pass. But wait, it gets darker, deeper, and way more scandalous. The Crofton vs Subnautica 2 developer drama is the stuff of straight-up movie villainy. A pre-trial brief with actual court documents, folks, alleges that Crofton's CEO actually used ChatGPT to brainstorm ways to avoid paying a massive earnout bonus to the original Unknown Worlds developers. Think about that for a second. The AI we were told would help humanity cure diseases or write beautiful symphonies is now, allegedly, being used by multi-million-dollar corporate executives to figure out the most effective way to stuff their creators out of millions of dollars. The CEO allegedly was terrified of looking like a pushover for paying the people who made the game good. What a legacy! Our greatest creative technology is being weaponized for maximum corporate penny pinching. The sheer audacity of that news is enough to make anyone quit the industry. But here's the kicker. This AI chaos has gotten so big, so visible, that it's finally leaving the Reddit threads and hitting Capitol Hill. That's right, members of the US Congress are now pushing back against Activision's use of AI in Call of Duty Black Ops 7, specifically in those calling cards. Congressman Ro Khanna stated we need regulations that prevent companies from using AI to eliminate jobs, and that artists at these companies need to have a say. They should share in the profit. When Congress, which generally moves at the speed of a swamp turtle wearing cement boots, starts talking about AI usage in video game art assets, you know we have a problem. Activision's response was a non-committal corporate salad about using a variety of digital tools, which means nothing. But the fact that big government is suddenly looking at big gaming's reliance on AI for labor displacement, that's massive. So there you have it. We live in a world where Nintendo is being nice. People who openly mock AI make a 2 million player hit, and a brand new game makes Game Awards history because the actor was so good he nailed it in 4 hours. But at the same time, We have powerful CEOs allegedly using advanced machine learning to write a legal blueprint for corporate theft. Artists have to sign affidavits that their work is human, and the US government is issuing stern warnings about the new Call of Duty assets. That's all the chaos we have time for. I need a nap, a lawyer, and probably a beer. We'll see you next week for the next Glitch Report, where we will almost certainly be talking about a major AAA game announcing a mandatory NFT integration narrated by Snoop Dogg. Good week and good luck.